Every family has its favorite recipe for potato salad. Today I'm sharing a Castira favorite. It's naturally sweet and creamy, and it uses sweet and creamy red skinned potatoes that are dressed with a little mayonnaise, vinegar, and herbs, and then topped with sliced hard-boiled eggs. And into a steamer basket, a little bit of salt, water to the top of the steamer basket. Add 5 pounds of red potatoes. These are red bliss. You could also use the small white potato, but I just like the idea of using the red. It's a very flavorful potato. Don't skimp on the water underneath the basket. Make sure you have plenty because you don't want that to boil away during the 25 minutes or so that it takes to cook the potatoes until they're tender to the point of a sharp knife. So here the potatoes are perfectly cooked. They're still warm. The skins will just peel off, as you can see. So very easy. Use a little paring knife. And if there are any little brown spots, you can just slice them off. You don't want those little brown spots. Cioci Kasia, who I learned this recipe from, Cioci Kasia means Aunt Catherine in Polish, made the best potato salad. So here we have our bowl of sliced potatoes. Now to this we add 1 white onion. It's a medium onion, and we have finely grated it on a wood rasp. This really is important to do, to grate it finely. You don't want big pieces of onion in the potato salad, and you want it almost undiscernible. You just don't want to know that it's there. You want to taste it. A ½ cup of distilled white vinegar. You could use cider vinegar, but Cioci Kasia always used white vinegar in her potato salad. She also used about a teaspoonful, a little heaping teaspoonful of sugar, and about a ½ teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. So I'll do a little bit more than a ½ teaspoon. Lots of black pepper. And 1 cup of mayonnaise mixed with about a cup of buttermilk. Now, sometimes if she didn't have buttermilk, she would use water, but I like using just the buttermilk. And you can use a low-fat buttermilk or a whole-fat buttermilk. And if you don't have buttermilk, you could use whole milk thickened with the white vinegar that you just poured into the salad. That makes a very tasty homemade buttermilk. So see how nice and creamy that looks without being cream? And now add your potatoes. And we're not going to stir. We're not going to use a spoon on the potatoes. The way we're going to mix is to pour back and forth from bowl to bowl. You can also add some chopped cornichon or sliced cornichon. You can also use dill pickles, very finely chopped, which are very delicious. Or you could use a sweet gherkin also. So here we're just going to pour from bowl to bowl. And as this sits, it gets thicker as the milk and mayonnaise gets absorbed into the cooked potatoes. See how good this looks? And it has to be chilled. This will be really tasty in a couple of hours. So look how beautiful it looks. I love it. That's a good mix. So then a little bit of a toss. Looks watery, but this will get absorbed into the potatoes as they chill. If using a mayonnaise-based dressing, it's best to let the potatoes cool a little so that the mayonnaise doesn't melt and become oily. These are plenty cool for the mayonnaise. It's very important to chill the potato salad before serving and garnishing with hard-boiled egg. So here's our potato salad. And put this into your serving bowl. And again, sometimes Cioci Kasia, Aunt Catherine, would garnish with hard-boiled eggs if it were for a picnic. Or if she were selling this in the deli, there would be no hard-boiled eggs. Just a sprinkling of parsley and sometimes dill. Level it off a little bit. You see how nice and moist it is? Very pretty. And then with your knife, we've already sliced the eggs. These can go around the perimeter of the bowl. And they'll get mixed in and people get a little bit of egg. Make sure your eggs are not too hard-boiled. These are 13-minute eggs, which means you bring the eggs to a boil, turn off the heat, and cover for 13 minutes. That's generally a perfect hard-boiled egg. And a nice sprinkling of parsley.
Sometimes a recipe is inspired by something you ate as a child, something you've read about in a book, or maybe something that you've eaten in a restaurant. The origin of this simple soup recipe is a little bit unclear to me. I remember eating a similar soup at my mother's lunch table, but I also remember something in a book by Tolstoy that talked about a cold potato buttermilk soup. And yesterday, when I was out in my garden digging my potatoes, I thought I'd try a new and colorful version of this favorite recipe of mine. In a shallow pan, first saute some thinly sliced onions. You can use white onions or yellow onions. Just make sure they're a good sweet onion. And saute them in a little bit of olive oil and unsalted butter until they're a deep golden brown. And I've seasoned these with a little bit of coarse salt and freshly ground black pepper. And in these different pots, I've boiled different potatoes. Austrian crescents, which are a very nice whitish potato, and I'm just going to drain them. They're cooked until they're just fork tender. And we have some Gold Rush. They're all different sizes, different shapes, different colors. And we have some all blue potatoes. If you can't find a variety called all blue, you can certainly find a purple variety called purple Peruvian. And these are a variety called red Lesota, small red potatoes. They look very nice right here in the colander. Now I'll let them cool just a tiny bit. The onions look good. You can peel the whole potato if you like, or just a little bit to expose the color of the flesh of the potato. Pour in ice cold buttermilk. There really is no substitute for the buttermilk. Regular milk just won't do. And put some of your onions. So many people are under the impression that because buttermilk is thick, that it's fattening. But if you read the label, you'll understand that buttermilk can be extremely low fat and extremely good for you. A few snippets of dill, and here you have a very simple, but I think unusual, rustic soup.
These golden potatoes are crispy on the outside and creamy on the inside, and in my opinion, one of the best ways to enjoy potatoes. We've steamed the potatoes for the other recipes, but for this recipe, we are boiling them. And it only takes about 8 to 9 minutes for uniform potatoes such as these. Use potatoes that are no bigger than 1.5 inches across. And we're using white potatoes, which are really yellow-skinned. We're using red bliss potatoes, which are red-skinned. And we're using a little blue potato, which is purple-skinned. Inside the flesh is blue. And we put this in a pot of water that's over a high flame and bring to a boil and cook until the potatoes are soft to the point of a sharp knife. That's going to take somewhere about 8 to 9 minutes. You'll drain them and let them cool until they're not too hot to smash with the heel of your hand. Now we have some that are already done, so I can just proceed with the recipe. Oil a baking sheet like this with olive oil. And here's our potatoes. And you just take your hand like that and smash, just like that. A white one, a purple one, and here's a red one. And these can be put quite close on the baking sheet. They're not going to grow or expand or do anything like that. And just, they look like little flowers, kind of smashed flowers on the baking sheet. And they heat in the oven so nicely. They roast now. And if they're too hot, use a little towel, a little piece of towel over the potato. But it's better, I think, to let them cool enough so that you can handle them. Now, there's just 2 pounds of potatoes here. They should all fit on this baking sheet. And then just sprinkle a little tiny bit more olive oil on the tops. Sprinkle with a little bit of salt and pepper and some thyme leaves. Put them in a 425 preheated oven and roast for, about 25 minutes. Now just strip the leaves off the stems and sprinkle, making sure that each potato has a little bit of thyme on it. So there, these go straight into your oven. Now you could substitute rosemary or parsley if you prefer those herbs to thyme, but I love potatoes and thyme. "25 minutes, 425. So you can arrange these on a serving platter. You can just dump them on a serving platter if you like, but I think they're so pretty that they should be treated with tenderness. And these are so crispy and pretty. During the baking, you can turn them over. These were turned over once, but you can see the different colors. And you can serve these plain like this, or if you like, with a dollop of sour cream and sprinkle with chopped chive.
The dish I'm about to show you how to make is roast potatoes with garlic. I like to call this campfire food because I first cooked potatoes this way on a camping trip up in Saranac Lake. It seemed like the perfect thing to bring along. I prepared the potatoes and the garlic ahead of time and wrapped them up in foil, then buried the potatoes in our campfire coals. This is my adapted recipe for the home oven. It's hard to beat the effects of an open fire and a long day's walk on one's appetite, but I still think that these potatoes, roasted in a high oven, are pretty delicious. You have to have 2 whole bulbs of roasted garlic. This bulb has been roasted in the oven about 300 degrees until it's soft to the touch, and the garlic has cooked so beautifully and is easy to just squeeze out of each of the cloves. You can see how tender and delicious it really is. And just put all of these garlic cloves into a bowl. Remember to wash your hands under cool water with a piece of stainless steel. Get rid of all that smell. Okay, so mash up the garlic, some salt, freshly ground pepper, and about 1.5 tablespoons of the olive oil. I have 4 roasting potatoes. Those are like the Idaho potatoes that are delicious for baking or roasting. And they're washed very clean. Skins are unblemished, and there's no imperfections on these potatoes. Now slice the potatoes into pieces about 1 inch thick. Like that. Now spread your garlic paste on each piece. You're going to reassemble these potatoes and have some foil cut to size so that it'll completely wrap around the potato. And then just reassemble. And you wrap the potato. You can add a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, and you can pour just a little bit more olive oil over the potato. and wrap it up tightly. Now you can insert that right into your campfire, or you can put it in a baking pan into a preheated 475-degree oven for approximately an hour and 10 minutes. I have another pan already done, and the smell is extraordinary. I'll show you what one looks like. Just be careful not to burn yourself. Steaming hot campfire roast potatoes with garlic. Good with any meal.
We'll cut off one side of the potato, just want to flatten it a little bit. And then, using a mandolin, it's fitted with the French fry blade. These blades are a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch apart. And use a guard to hold your potato or a cloth. I'm using a cloth because sometimes the guards, which have these little points that hold the potato, make marks in the potato. I don't like those marks. So I am using a cloth and press down firmly, and you have really gorgeous French fries. Here's the French fries that we have cut. So easy, easier than a knife. Look how beautiful. Put them immediately into ice water because soaking the potatoes really, really well will remove the starch, and refrigerating them will actually make the final product crispier. Invest in a mandolin of this size if you're going to be making a lot of French fries. You can use a smaller mandolin like this for other kinds of potatoes. Different cuts of potato will have different results. Thinner cuts will be crisp throughout, while fatter or bigger cuts will yield a crisp exterior with a very creamy interior. We're going to cook them twice, in a deep fryer or in a pot on top of the stove. Heat oil till it's 300 degrees. I like using these big enamel cast iron. They are very good for frying. Now this one should be 300 degrees. The potatoes themselves must be very well dried. Anytime you're frying, fry food that is dry. I love doing them on these wonderful cotton flour sack towels that we have. I just love these. Let them dry very, very well. Now these are ready. So get those right into the 300-degree oil. Don't crowd the pot. When you add this much potato to the oil, or if you added it all, you might cause it to bubble over. Be very careful. All of frying is cautionary. You see how it's starting to bubble up? If I put too many in, we might have an eruption of oil and they'll get all over your stove and you will be so mad at yourself. It happened to me once and only once because cleanup is hideous. So it is now a little less than 300, so raise the heat. Make sure you get right back up there. Raise that temperature to 300, and this is called blanching. It's only for 3 minutes in 300-degree oil. After 3 minutes, remove the blanched potatoes to a paper-lined cookie sheet. Now I'm using a neutral oil, one that has a very high smoking point, soybean oil. You can use canola oil, oils that have the high smoking point and don't have too much flavor to impart to the fried food. Now I'm adjusting the heat. I have it on high now to bring it back up to 300 degrees. It does cool off. Now you can tell if they're blanched all right if you break it. Oh yes, and it's soft on the inside, a little bit cooked on the outside. That is great. It should be almost cooked through but not brown. My other pot of oil is ready to take these potatoes and put them in very carefully. You can put the blanched potatoes into the oil with the spider, and oil is at 360 degrees. It can be between 350, 360. And they're frying nicely. Look at the color these are getting. Oh, so nice. Very happy with these. Now the correct kind of thermometer to use is one of these that hangs on the side of the pot. and make sure it's accurate. You can sometimes knock it and break it, so just be careful and make sure that it is in good working order before you start frying. And here, drain them well on paper toweling. They're looking nice and crispy. Now, while they're hot, salt them with kosher salt. And you love chips. So I thought today maybe you'd like to learn how to make homemade potato chips. The kids would love them. They're kind of fun. And I wanted to teach you how to use a different kind of mandolin than you're used to. You're used to the musical mandolin,
I am.
probably.
In fact, I'd never even seen this.
Well, this is the blade right here.
Okay.
And it's set perfectly to slice the potato into a waffle.
All right.
And so
Yes.
hold the mandolin with that hand. You're doing it
Okay.
right. And then now press down like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Keeping
Straight
your
down.
fingers away.
Yeah, okay. Now, that first slice is not really going to be anything. So,
Okay, how with
so now
you?
turn it the other way. Now hold, you had it this way. Now
Yes.
turn it exactly 90 degrees.
90 degrees. Got you.
Okay, now go again. Now pick that one up.
This is my first waffle chip I ever made.
Look,
Martha,
you
I
did
did
it.
pretty well.
You did it. Now don't push quite so hard because you want it a little thinner than that. Okay.
All right.
If you're not going to fry them right away, and even if you are, put them in ice water.
Ice water.
It gets the starch out of the potatoes.
Of course.
You know all about potatoes, don't you?
I'm Irish. Come on, Martha.
That's how you doing. That one looks much better. Yeah.
Oh, Martha, check that out. That one's mine. Remember,
Okay.
that good one was mine.
Okay. So you're getting into this. Look. Oh, look.
Hava,
Perfect.
Nagila, Hava, Nagila. Do you ever sing while you cook?
Oh, all the time.
I've never seen you sing on this show.
No, but I don't do that. I mean,
No, how come?
I don't know why. I think they would shoot me.
They would?
Those guys out there.
There's a lot of joy in
Now,
singing.
you're getting a little too thin now.
Too thin. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the first time someone's ever said to me, "You're getting too thin." Just thought I'd bring that up. Let
So
me get
now,
the starch out.
when you're going to be frying these, you must dry them. Don't put wet potatoes into the oil. The oil has to be 375 degrees.
Martha,
Perfect. There, you can just try one. See how nicely starts
it's
to cook?
enjoyable. It won't splatter too much and burn us.
No, just.
Well, you gently place. Would you say that?
Now, this is peanut oil.
Peanuts.
You can do it in olive oil. You can do it in canola oil.
What's the benefit of peanut? Why'd you choose peanut?
Peanut oil has a high smoke temperature, so it's not going to start smoking.
Oh. You have to dump them one at a time like we're doing?
Yeah, I like to because these are special chips. You know, they're so pretty. And now this is a Chinese strainer, and these are very handy to have when you're doing your own homemade chips.
Because of the delicacy of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You're a very good student. See?
Well, I love to learn this stuff. This would be my first chip I've ever had homemade.
Oh, good.
We have to hang out more.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you, there's a whole world out there.
Well, we
for
owe
you.
Derek Jeter a dinner.
Derek Jeter?
Yeah, he wants to go out to dinner with us.
With you and me?
Yeah. Would you go out?
Of course.
Oh, okay. He's dying to go out with us for barbecue. I met him on your show.
Really? You got along? You clicked?
Oh, yeah. He's great.
He's a nice guy. He's got pretty eyes, doesn't he?
He's a very good baseball player.
He is. What position does he play?
The most important. He
you
plays
know?
second base.
Oh, does he? Does anyone know?
No, he doesn't.
Shortstop. Yeah, it's shortstop.
He was near second base. I
But
knew.
you know what?
I knew
you
it
said
was.
it with such conviction that
No,
I
that's
believed
why- That's
you.
one of my terrible faults.
It's not a fault. I think that's good.
Shortstop is close to second base.
Very close.
So when I, turn on the television for that 1 second, and I see him there, he looks like he's on second base.
You know what? He often covers second. I'd like to have him at your house.
Okay.
I think it's nicer than mine.
We'll invite him.
Although I have such a rose garden, you wouldn't believe.
You do better than Barbara Streisand's.
Don't want to brag. I don't want to boast. Barbara Streisand sent me 3 rose bushes that are now in my garden.
Oh, nice. Which ones?
The Barbara Streisand rose.
Oh, she sent me one too.
Whatever.
I don't mean to brag.
No, it was a little braggedy. I was saying something special, and you totally deflated me.
It's all right.
It's okay.
I know. It's just
The
nice.
Derek Jeter thing was good.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
that.
Look, very important as they
Salt.
come out to put a little bit of kosher salt or sea salt
Okay.
on your potato
A little
chips.
bit as they
Yeah.
come out of
Now I
the
want you to taste
boiler.
these new ones.
Okay, there
Taste.
you go.
This is yours, actually. I remember that one.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Good?
Martha, I have to say, that is very enjoyable.